Hello and welcome to Teching It Up with Mark. Today we're going to go over some JavaScript basic usage in SmartForms. Specifically, we're going to take a look at selecting elements and adding some style. I'll have further videos on changing elements, properties, and values and things like that later on, but first we got to start with the basics. Okay, so here I have a K2 SmartForm. I'm going to click F12 to open the browsing debugging tools. If F12 isn't available, you should be able to do this through the settings menu. And here, I can execute JavaScripts. So basically the logic for a web page. So I'm going to execute a basic alert. Hello world. I typed this once. I recorded this whole video once. And it didn't work so well for me. And you can see my browser responds with hello world when I use this alert function within there. Now, if I want to add this script on a SmartForm so I don't have to type it in the console like another user possibly would, I'm going to go over to K2 Designer. I'm going to add a data label. Now, there's a couple things I have to do. First, I'm going to give this data label a proper name, data label script execution. I'm going to put my script in here, alert, hello from SmartForms, and semicolon, save that. Now we have this option to make this literal, which means it will show as HTML. So I'm going to check this box and I'm going to uncheck the box to prevent cross-site scripting so it does actually execute the script. Alright, let's save that. Flip back over to our other page. Refresh this. I don't see my script, but I see it as text here. So what went wrong? Let's go back over to the page. Click on here. I also need to put this in script tags. So SmartForms and the browser will recognize it as a script and not just as HTML on the page. So let me save that. Flip back over to the page. Refresh. Hello from SmartForms. All right. We have a JavaScript, but it's quite pointless at this point. Now, what we would like to normally do when we use JavaScripts in SmartForms is either update element style or sometimes update values. Sometimes we would like to display our own HTML in there. Just cover some gaps that might be present with forms themselves. So in order to do that, we first have to get a little bit familiar with the DOM, Document Object Model tree. So what I do for my elements to find them, I usually open the browser debugging tools, that was F12 again. Click this to select elements, and then from there I can find, once I'm selected, the elements I need within the DOM tree. Now you'll notice here, for example, my text box, I have the name of title text box. For the script execution, which we can't really see here, I should have the name data label script execution. Also here, the name Mark label. Why this is significant, this is something you can control from the forms designer. So here, my script is named data label script execution. If we go to this view, you would see the same title text box. And also for my logo, I put Mark logo camel cased. So that means we can use the name that we find here and we can depend on it being the name that's going to be here in the name property for these elements in the DOM. So what does that mean exactly? It means if we decide to use jQuery for our selectors, so we know jQuery is installed or used in SmartForms if we can use a little $sign, which is usually what it's aliased at. We click enter and we see some text come up. not an error. Like if I just click 3, I get 3 back, not a function back. So for jQuery, there should be a version, some there, migration version. Don't know what exactly that is, but we see some property there. But with jQuery, it's basically a library for adding some events, selectors, so selecting or finding elements within the HTML page, or sometimes changing things too, making that all simplified. Now, the way we normally use this in SmartForms is by going to what we see here as the selector, which will come in the first part, and then we can use some kind of function afterwards here. So in most cases, what I'm using is the name selector, or selecting by a property. So let's try this in the DOM in our example. Now I have that. I need my function in there. I need square, and then I need what property I'm looking for. Name equals, in little quotes there, whatever the opposite of the outer quotes are. Title, text, box. Now let's see if that returns anything. It looks like it did. I see a length of 1 there, and I see some input control. SmartForm control web text box. Great. So something is there. I can also do this a little bit easier with mark logo. And I see I have a length of 1. Now that I have that element, I can set the style. I can do quite a lot of things with it in jQuery. So for this example here, we're going to add a CSS transition to this, which will rotate this image here, my logo, 360 degrees over 1 second. And I execute that, and you see it spin. If I put it back to 0, it will spin the other way. Now, this is good, but we're doing it within the console. This is not something an end user would do. So let's add this to SmartForms, or a way to automate this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a button, and we'll call this rotate right, rotate logo right, and we're going to add a rule to it. So this is on the form, so when button rotate right is clicked, I'm gonna transfer data. What I'll do on this transfer data is transfer my scripts in. So first, I'll clear out to make sure that nothing is in there. And second, I'm going to add a script. Now, I've already added the script in a previous attempt at this video, but they're pretty simple. So I have 2 expressions in here, both in script tags. One where I find the element that I'm looking for, and I set the CSS to add this transition 1 second to 360 degrees, and another one for 0 degrees. Let me just focus in on that so we can see a little bit more what exactly it's doing. Quite simple. I'm sure your favorite AI agent will help you write scripts like that now. Not much of a challenge like it used to be. And I'm just going to put that expression in here. We normally put these scripts into expressions because they can get quite long on the page. All right. Let's see if that works. I'll refresh this page. I still got this ugly message in there. change that. But the spin works, at least for once. The reason it doesn't work multiple times is that it's already at 360 degrees. So there's probably a couple of better ways to do this, but that's the way I chose. So first, let's go to this data label. Let's remove what I have there so I don't get that annoying alert. And let's add the second button to rotate it left or to 0 degrees. Rotate left, rotate left. Save that. Still need to add the rule. When rotate left is clicked, search for transfer data. Transfer data, transfer data. First, I'll clear out the script box. And second, I'll add my script there, which will be effectively running it. Save and refresh. Make sure I got nothing going on in the console here. Rotate right, rotate left, rotate right, rotate left. I think that's it for now. Next time I'll go into some examples where we could actually get and set some data. You'll probably see how that's coming, but there's also some things within SmartForms to help us with that a little bit. Thanks and have a good day.